Not tired of the lies, we need a brand new day. With Reuben at the helm, we gon' pave the way. No more corruption, no more games to play. Let him lead us now, let's hear what he said. Them my voice, but can't really see. Reuben's got vision, he's the one we need. Give Reuben a chance, let him lead the way. With vision for the future, shiny bright day.
Welcome to the show. This is Musafiri, Diaspora Dialogues, and karibu sana.
Yeah, it's nice to be in Grand Rapids with you.
Yes.
Right.
And before we start, I just want to encourage our viewers to subscribe and to share, and also to like, and also leave us a comment so we can make this channel to grow. Today, Mr. Reuben Kigame is joining us and taking us through some of the Kenyan politics and also part of what the work he has been doing of activism in Kenya. So without taking much time, I will have him introduce himself. Karibu.
No, thank you for having me here. And it's nice to be in Grand Rapids. I've always seen Grand Rapids in publications, so it's really nice to be here. I am a father and married, and so I'm a family man. I operate that very actively. I'm also a teacher. I teach philosophy of religion and apologetics, as well as church history part-time at the Africa International University, where I'm also taking my doctorate in world Christianity with specialization in music and social justice. And I'm also a musician, so as you can hear in the social justice and music nexus there. I'm also in activism, quite interested in the rights of the downtrodden, the marginalized, and people whose rights are taken away. As you may know, I've also had a stint in broadcasting. I started one of the media houses called Fish Media,
Yes.
which I ran for about 12 years, actively for 10, as managing director, as well as the founder. So,
Wow.
brainchild. I've also run for office in Kenya.
Yes.
Did in 2013 in Vihiga County for the gubernatorial seat, and then in 2022 for the presidential aspiration.
Wow, you do wear many hats for sure. You're a very, very busy man.
You know, it's the gifts that
Yes.
put in my life.
Yes.
So, as a scholar, I push something called interdisciplinarity.
Yes.
In other words, we are products of so many different things. Just like you are in primary school, you learn maybe 8 or 9 subjects or more.
Yes.
Go to high school, you learn more. The problem is when we go to university, then we drop a lot of those and we specialize. And it's not really bad. But when you, for example, are going to study archaeology or you study languages, you'll find that they keep bringing other aspects.
Yes.
So you'll see the philosophy of language. You know, you'll find something, the history of physics.
Yes.
So all these things are sort of interconnected, and research is tending more and more towards interdisciplinarity. And I naturally come into that with it because I'm born of many trades.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also a musician, I told you.
Yes. Yes.
I, besides production, I've also been recording my own music and helping especially young people, young musicians to further their talents and growth. Yeah.
You know what is amazing when I've been listening to your music, and you go to any genre of music and you are making a song out of it, and it's amazing how good it is. Yes.
Because, I mean, once you are familiar with a genre, let's say, like I do reggae, so I fit myself in the shoes of a reggae artist. I do rumba. I really enjoy, especially Central African rumba. I do benga.
Yes.
Benga is, domiciled around the lake region, and you can stretch right in all the way to Zambia. And you will find in Zimbabwe they do some form of benga. And going eastwards, you remember Kakayo, Kilonzo?
Yes.
You know, the Ukambani.
Yes.
And into central Kenya. A lot of those people do benga. So it's a very East African genre. Do Bhangra, which is from the eastern side of the world, Asia. I also have tried my hands at classical. Not, prolific, but yeah, it's nice to try those different styles.
Definitely, yes.
Music is very vast.
Wow. It's a gift of God that God has given to Kenya. You are a gift to Kenyans and to all Africans.
You are a gift to me too. And
Yes.
thank you for enjoying my country music.
Yes.
Country and Western is big out here in the States.
Yes.
So I do what I call Kenyan country, a taste of Kenyan country. Yeah.
Oh, really, thank you. Yes, but let's switch gears because there's one subject that I'm really coming. It's kind of an interest of everybody right now, especially those who are in Kenya.
Okay.
Let's just dig straight into it. We can all agree that in the current state of Kenya, we have been in a big mess.
Yeah.
Could you to take us back a little bit of history into how we got into this mess we are in?
It's really not a mess that begins now.
Yes.
Kenya's mess begins with the so-called gaining of independence. You see, a lot of us say we got independence, but actually, the colonial masters never quite went away. The British, you understand?
Yes.
So, for example, if you go to the northern part of Kenya, you go to Nanyuki and so on, you'll find there is actually a British army camp there.
Wow.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the coast, you find you have American Marines there.
Wow.
Okay?
Mm.
So in terms of even just the military presence, we have not declared Kenya as an occupied state, okay? So what are they doing there? So that's one thing. Then you have inherited systems such as education.
Right.
The legal system is very British. Ask any lawyer. We really operate big time with the British law.
Yes.
And rudiments. The education is always given to us. If you go into any particular library, whether high school or university in Kenya or any place in Africa, most places in Africa,
Yes.
the bulk of the books are written by Westerners.
Yes.
In other words, Africa is really receiving a colonial education. You get it?
I get it, yeah.
So, if the books are written by somebody else, then it means the ideas that you use are mostly somebody else's ideas. Okay?
Yes. They are foreign ideas.
And whoever writes your history, for example, shapes how you view the world. Whoever writes your religious books, whoever writes your language books, shapes who you are. So colonialism actually never quite went away. We never quite got independence. We got land, given to us to a great extent.
Yes.
But we never actually got the independence we were looking for from the foreign masters. There's something else you need to know. That Kenya, in that colonial state, was set up as a company. Okay?
Interesting.
The Imperial British East African Company.
Yes.
That's IBEAC.
Yes.
So the colony was really a business. The railway line that was built from Mombasa to Lake Victoria and so on was for perpetuation of colonialism, but also for mercantilism. So the business. So Makinon and all these guys were actually putting up a business, and Kenya was not the Kenya you see today. You had it included all the way to Uganda. Okay.
Yes.
So the railway was targeting the East Africa, so to speak. Now that we have artificial boundaries. I'm sure you know that.
I know that. Yes.
Maasai is in Kenya.
Yeah.
You also have Maasai in Tanzania.
Yes.
You have Tesos in Kenya. You have Tesos in Uganda.
Yes.
You have Luyas in Kenya. You have Luyas in Uganda.
Yes.
Somalis in Kenya. You have Somalis in Somalia.
Yes.
So all these East African and the rest of African boundaries are really artificial. So we inherited a problem You get it?
I get it.
So we all believe we are independent.
Yes.
But we are not. That's the first point I wanted you to get. The second thing we inherited,
Yes.
which is part of our problem,
Yes.
is that we inherited leaders that are looters.
Kabisa.
The first president, Kenyatta,
Yes.
they were thieves. I mean, they took land to themselves, amassed land. Like Kenyatta would own like almost half the country.
Wow.
So you had one colonial master go away and you had a Kenyatta colonial master come in.
Yes.
So after Kenyatta left, Moi comes in and he says he's going to fuata nyayo. He's going to follow the nyayos of
Kenyatta.
Meaning, if Kenyatta was corrupt, Moi was going to follow the corruption.
The corruption, yes. Yes.
If and by the way, Kenyatta never really quite sent away the British. He actually included some of them in government. So you need to know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to this day, you have a heritage of looters. And so when Kibaki takes over from Moi,
Yes.
the first 2 years or so it seemed to be working. But then the cartels come in and seize power from Kibaki
Yes.
and drive Kenya into Anglo leasing and all those scandals and so on. So Kibaki became corrupt courtesy of his friends that are
Right.
thieves.
Yes.
And enter Uhuru, and the scandals increase. So Kibaki left us with a debt of just over $1 trillion.
Yes.
Now, when Uhuru leaves after 10 years, he has driven Kenya to a debt of just under 10 trillion, as in added 9 more trillion on top.
Yes.
Do you get that? You know what $1 trillion is?
It's a lot of money.
So a million has 6 zeros, okay?
Yes.
Then you have a billion with how many zeros?
90. Yeah.
You keep going up.
Yes.
So the point I'm trying to make is $1 trillion, okay?
Yes.
And somebody drives you into debt 9 trillion down the road, and you still call him a president. And then Ruto comes in and perpetuates that. So you see, it would seem to me that the job
Yes.
of the presidents of Kenya is to loot, not to build a nation.
Mm.
When Kenyatta came into office, the first Kenyatta, he said that we had 3 enemies. That is ignorance, poverty, and disease. Okay?
Yes.
Ignorance because of lack of education, poverty because of lack of resources, diseases because of poor health. Okay?
Yes.
Now, when you look 61 years after independence in Kenya today, are those problems still there?
It's still there.
Our children are at home. Education is not free.
Yes.
So ignorance is still there. Poverty, sahi, with taxes and everything that is going, everybody's crying.
Everybody's crying.
Horrible.
Yes.
I've had to close 3 businesses in the last 2 years. So my question is, are we going forwards or are we going backwards? So, or are we stagnating?
Right.
So, and then disease, it's a big thing. Now it's just trading with our lives with Mara, it's NHIF, Mara, it's SHIF, Mara, it's SHA, whatever. It's really about looting. So on top of the 3 problems, they added as corruption and impunity.
Yes.
So you wanted me to paint for you where we have come from. That's
Yes.
where we've come from. So that today, foreigners come into Kenya to loot and they're given accommodation. Like recently, Bill Gates comes with an agenda that nobody knows.
Right. Yes.
But what we read is not good.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you're going to take over the vaccination, the careless vaccination of our animals. You're going to take over the bringing of GMOs. You're going to bring all these vaccines that nobody knows about, and you're going to be given impunity. Okay.
Yes.
Before, you remember when we spoke against Meg Whitman?
Yes.
And what she was doing, and she resigned. But what was she doing? She was free to move around Kenya, meet IEBC officials, meet the military, meet community leaders, and so on and so forth. Like Kenya is a playground.
Yeah.
So what has happened is that we've lost our sovereignty as a people. we have lost our sovereignty. And when you go to how our minerals are utilized, you know,
Yes.
have
Yes.
you ever heard of something called NRT?
NRT.
The Northern Ranger Trust.
No.
Trust.
Actually, I've not.
So these are foreigners who own big chunks of land, you know, in the northern part of Kenya, where nobody is supposed to go.
Right.
And they have military protection and all of that.
Wow.
This is Kenya.
Wow.
Okay. You heard about the looking for oil in Turkana.
Yes.
Where does that oil go? We call it prospecting for oil. So oil is mined, but inaenda wapi?
We actually stopped hearing about the oil in Turkana. The oil went underground somehow.
Go on in Taita Taveta.
Yes.
People just go in there and they're mining like crazy, like right in the Tsavo, at the coast, titanium. All these guys are mining proper, killing our animals and taking away like elephant tusks and things like that. They are doing that with the protection of Kenyan citizens who call themselves leaders. That is where we are. And so poverty increases, universities are shutting down, doctors are unpaid, the country is being sold to Adani, you know, and
yes,
crooks that are being indicted in the United States. Everybody around the world complains about them, but Ruto and Raila say this guy is clean.
Yeah.
That is what Kenya has become. It's become a circus. It's become a club of businessmen trading with our lives. In the song that was written for me called "We Take Our Country Back," you know, the artist there is saying we want to take our country back from people who do business with our lives and our futures.
Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of, speaking of Adani, you know, when I watched the video, like President Ruto,
Yeah.
like announcing that, oh, we canceled the deal. This is after consulting with the partners, and you wonder like what partners, and this is after the indictment here in America.
Yeah.
So this is something that Kenyans have been speaking about
Right.
for so long, saying these people are corrupt, these people are not good people.
Right.
We should not be making deals with this company, with this individual. But now, all of a sudden, you see him canceling, and then you see the MPs clapping. So these are they just like clowns or something?
So let's dissect that cancellation for just a moment. Okay?
Yes, please.
So how do you explain somebody who's been praising Adani, you know,
Yes.
and saying he's a good guy, he's a good investor, will benefit,
Right.
all of that, and Raila backs him up,
Right.
Musalia Mudavadi,
Yes.
guys are good, you know?
Yeah.
How do you explain all of that with a sudden withdrawal? You know, like we've cancelled all that.
Yeah.
After the Gen Z uprising, there
Yes.
was a gentleman, young man called Nelson Amenya. So Nelson actually pulled out all these files, and I'm really glad that as a whistleblower, Nelson pulled this rug from under their feet. Okay.
Yes.
Now, so there's tons and tons of data of what was going on. The ministers are called, you know, to be questioned about this. They deny and say it's all clean, you know, it was proper, legal, you know.
Right.
And then the United States indicts this guy, and the next day, Ruto says we are canceling. So I'm asking you, who actually cancelled? Is it Ruto or the United States?
I think the United States. Yes.
Ruto
Yeah.
did not cancel.
Did not cancel. Yeah.
And if there is any cancellation, then it's like someone being caught with a hot potato in the mouth, okay?
Right.
You've got to spit it out.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the US catches Adani, and Adani is doing business with Ruto. So he realizes, "Ooh, you know, this thing is going to, okay, we've cancelled it." So I really like the Kenyan lawyers that went to court
Yes.
a couple of days ago, saying we want to see the evidence
Yes.
of the cancellation, and so what was being cancelled.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where are the documents? And what are the implications? We want to see this. And I thank God for like the how awake the Kenyan people are.
Very awake.
I'm so proud of them. And so Ruto did not cancel the Adani deal. The US did. Ruto was caught up in the cancelling.
Yes.
And what you need to see, Isika,
Yes.
is what is not said. The unspoken ramifications
Yes.
of that cancellation. Because Ruto was using different people, ministers and the CSs and so on, to sign deals, to quite likely pick up the money and get this deal done. Okay, so he's not going himself. He would send people.
Yes.
So the question is, deals were actually sealed. Probably bribes taken.
Yes.
Because the US says Adani was bribing. So Kenya must have undergone through, similar.
The same thing, yes.
So the question is, where do these people hide now? Because it's either the United States gets them or Adani wants his money back.
Right, exactly.
You see all these high-rising buildings coming up in Nairobi, everybody's buying land in Karen, you see money, filthy money circulating in the country.
Yes.
These are the deals. These are our taxes. These are the stolen funds.
Yes.
That are being, tunasema wash.
Wash, yeah.
Pesa. So unarudisha kwa economy.
Yeah.
I wish we could sit down.
Yes.
And itemize
yes.
owners of these buildings, especially these apartments that are coming up and projects, huge projects, and ask who is the investor, where did they get the money, how much money, and because it's like insanity. People like Cherochi Sei have come up saying Kilimani is being destroyed. Nobody wants to listen.
Right.
Uhuru Park is gone, Jibanji is gone. I can see Karura Forest being cut down. I mean, people are just looking for every possible space to build.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And then you have the pseudo scheme of affordable housing, which is really a ploy of foreign intrusion and domination. But they're using the Kenyan person.
Wow.
As a ploy.
Yes.
So I can go on, but so Adani was not really a Ruto cancellation.
No.
No.
Wow. Wow.
Mzee alishikwa na kiazi kwa mdomo.
Shame on him. Yes.
Hayuko peke yake.
Hayuko peke yake. Wote.
Watazitema.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me just say something because
yes, please.
I believe in God, you believe. There is a verse in Job chapter 5 that says, God catches the wise and the crafty in their own craft.
Yes.
You think you are crafty? He'll catch you.
He'll catch you, yeah.
And if you remember what I was telling Ruto in my open letter, that cost me a lot in 2023, I was telling him, being removed from office is not a matter of maandamano. And it's not, he doesn't even have to be killed or, you know the way people shoot someone,
yes.
assassinate.
Yeah.
But there are many ways of God getting someone out of office.
Yes.
I hope this is one of them. The processes. You get so exposed until everybody, not just Kenya,
yes, around the world, yes.
Exactly,
yes, yeah.
Impunity, can reach a wall.
Yes.
And you can't go any further.
No, I totally agree with that. And I think that if there's somebody who has become so unpopular, it's Ruto.
And that should be a lesson for all of us, that impunity does not succeed.
Yes.
And impunity is not just in government. You can have impunity in your house. I mean, doing stuff that you shouldn't do.
Right.
You can have impunity at work. You can have impunity in church, in the mosque. Impunity never works.
It never. you mentioned the video that we did a couple of weeks about Meg Whitmer.
Right.
And we literally did that video a day, and then the following day she resigned.
Yeah, but so the causal connection is not the video. I think we need to make it clear
Yes.
that there had been pressure.
Yes.
Had been mounting, and so it's not the only video that we did. We did several, if you remember.
Yes.
And even in Kenya, I've been speaking about it. But I need to also clarify, I'm not the only one who was mounting pressure against Whitman.
Whitman, yes.
Once you begin to act rogue as envoy, it will just catch up with you. You see, I like what God asks Cain in the book of Genesis,
Yes.
4 verse 7. God asks Cain, if you do what is right, will you not be accepted? Ukifanya lililo sawa,
Yes.
kwani hautakubalika?
Utakubalika?
Utakubalika.
Yes.
But if you do what is wrong, then sin is crouching at your door.
I agree.
And so, and that's a principle that does not operate only in faith issues. It operates in diplomacy, it operates in politics, it operates in economics, it will operate in family matters and so on. So if you do what is right, then you will be right.
I agree. So now Meg Whitmer is out.
Yeah.
Biden and Harris, they'll be out soon.
Yeah.
Next year, yeah. And then we have Trump who is coming in, yes. This dynamics change in the US. How are they changing the Kenyan political climate?
There are positive aspects and there are some negative aspects. On the positive side,
Yes.
of course, Meg Whitman's departure is good news because she was already overstepping her envoy status.
Yes.
On the other hand, you also have the Haiti mission. Kenya having sent some like 1,000 policemen to Haiti
Yes.
to ostensibly assist with the mission there.
Yeah.
Of course, there's not much that Kenyans are. They are suffering there, they are not being paid, etc. Yeah, delayed salaries. So there was a court case, that pushed against our boys and girls going to Haiti.
I remember that.
But Ruto insisted.
Yes.
You don't want them to go, but I want them to go, they will go. So when Trump comes in, of course, that entire policy is shaken.
It is shaken.
Now, Ruto had become a darling of Biden to the extent that the US gives Kenya a very interesting status. An unaligned,
with the NATO?
Yes.
Yes.
NATO, non-aligned. So you gain this status, out of nowhere.
Yes. No basis at all.
Is Kenya such a partner then? You see?
Right.
Now, so with Trump's coming into office, this is neither here nor there. We don't know whether that status will stay or not. But anything that was signed under the Biden administration that was critical to the good of Kenya as well as the US-Kenya relations,
Yes.
with a change of policy,
Yeah.
will certainly be shaken.
Will be shaken, yes.
And then, of course, you have all the legal things that were coming in the name of like LGBTQI. That was sneaked. The night of the Supreme Court. Martha Koome and her team just, Mrs. Biden is here, pitisha hiyo kitu.
Wow.
Now, so if you listened to Trump and
yes.
stand on such
issues, yes,
you know that he's not very pro that.
No, he's not.
So some of those may be reviewed, etc. So there are those challenges, there's some things that may work in that way. On the other hand, I really think that there are problems because Trump has made some very horrible remarks about Africa.
Yes.
And about Africa-US relations. And when Trump opens his mouth, anything comes out.
I agree, yeah.
So the immigration policy and so on is going to be a challenge.
Big time.
Yeah. And not just for Kenya and Africa,
right.
Any immigrant coming into the United States. So that is going to be a big one. And we wait to see whether there will be a change of heart or mind or policy on that one. And you can take, I don't know how much AGOA, in terms of the trade exchange there will favor us or punish us. So we'll wait to see. There's a lot of implications. I really hope that the new administration that comes into power, and I'm hoping that will be my administration,
yes,
will be able to negotiate a totally new way of doing Kenya that is based on our national sovereignty and identity, that gives us preferential consideration every time we talk foreign policy, and that we come to a point where we respect ourselves, that we're not just driven by anybody anyhow. I certainly would be interested in discussing what all these foreign troops on our soils are all about, and all the mineral exploitation is all about. Yeah.
Right. All right. Speaking of the next administration being yours, let's jump into that. And let's look at this in a way that maybe there are a Kenyan out there who has actually never heard about your philosophy.
Right.
Would you briefly, please, just state what is your manifesto? What is your philosophy?
So, a philosophy is like a summary of, everything that you want to do.
Yes.
So you had Moi's philosophy being peace, love, and unity.
Yes, yes.
So my philosophy is value-driven, character-centered leadership for economic transformation for the people. So I want character-driven leadership because our values are destroyed. We want to restore our values. So people of character should be in office, and they should be driven by constitutional values. And we want that for national, people-centered economic transformation. So that is what my philosophy is all about. And if you break it down, it comes in three things. That is Utu, which is about human dignity.
Yeah.
Then Haki, which is about the rights, basic rights of people, and Maadili, which is values, the good behavior or good conduct and the ethics there.
Yes.
Now, in order to achieve that, though, we need to do three things. Number one, we need to kick out corruption.
Kabisa.
Yeah. If we don't deal corruption, we're going nowhere, because that's the thing that has destroyed our country. Secondly, we need to implement the Constitution. You see, our institutions have been torn down. There is state capture. Some people live as if they are above the law because the Constitution has been thrown out. So you go to Parliament, you just want to change the laws like there is no Constitution.
Right.
It would have been nice if we completed the implementation of the Constitution, because then that would safeguard our republic. And then the third thing is having people-centered development.
Yes.
It's not enough to have development. It needs to be people-centered.
Yes, I agree.
So if any project or policy is not about the people, forget it. That's how I see it.
Yes.
Yeah. And so whether you're building hospitals or roads, an industry, it must be that it will benefit the people. When you negotiate foreign policy, when you sign any agreement, it must favor the people of Kenya, or I'm not interested.
Wow. And when we have like politicians come in, and they are vying for presidency,
Right.
corruption is always one of the main agendas they want to do, and it really never happens.
You can talk about wanting to stop corruption,
Yes.
but if you yourself have a history of
Wow. Wow.
that's why character-driven
Wow.
leadership is key.
Yes.
So and that's why I'm insisting that before you go celebrating somebody, before you go saying this is going to be my MP, this is going to be my MCA or governor or senator, check their character. Some of them are thieves.
Yes.
Some of them are thugs.
Yeah.
Some of them are murderers. Some of them beat their wives. Some of them, are rapists, etc. So you need to check that and bring, into office people that can be emulated. People that young people can say, I want to be like Isika. I want to be like Kigame. I want to be like so-and-so. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is Kenyans should not expect to get a mango from an orange tree.
Never. It never happens.
It never happens. It will never happen. Yes. So the message here is people need to do their due diligence.
Yes.
Figure out what is this, the history of this candidate.
Yeah.
What have they been? If somebody comes and says they are men of faith, have they demonstrated that in the past? Or are they doing that now because they are...
So, Isika,
Yes.
it is one thing for Kigame to say, I want to be president.
Yes.
Okiya Mtata has announced, Morara has announced, I hear Matiang'i wants to be president, etc. So all of us need to be assessed by the citizens of Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because if we go the way we've gone, where we just say, hey, Kigame is running, what is going to happen? We will end up perhaps with some of the problems that we had before.
Yes.
And then no one person actually unseat the current government. No, it can't happen. So it's going to take teamwork.
I agree.
Without that unity, it has happened before in 1997 and in 2017. When you have an opposition that is so divided, then the incumbent finds it very easy
Yes.
to take leadership. So let's examine our leaders and get to a point where we know for sure, the people that are becoming our MPs, our senators, our governors, etc.
Wow. So, Mr. Reuben, if the Kenyans were to choose, they'll look at your history. There's no history of corruption. There's no history of pretending to be a Christian or a man of faith or going to church. And they see your record is clean and they decide, we are going to choose Mr. Reuben Kigame to be our next president. What do you promise Kenyans that you will achieve in your first year of being a president? Something tangible, something that they can,
So there are many things that I want, but in terms of the 1 year projection, the first thing that they can expect is a national unity government.
Yes.
Because that's my prerogative. I'm given the powers to appoint.
Yes.
That's in my power to do. So you can be sure that there will be character-driven leaders from across the country without scandals are helping me to do top government.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That I can promise. Because I'm fully committed to it. And that's what I've been working on for years.
Yeah.
Even when I wanted to be governor of Vihiga. Even when I wanted to be president in 2022. I want leaders of accountability from all communities. So
Yes.
I'm a Luya myself. Okay?
Yes.
But there is no way I can fill my government with Luyas as if Kenya belongs to Luyas only.
Right.
See, if you have 18 ministries,
Yes.
and you give 9 or 10 to Luyas, what are you saying of all the other communities? There are specialists in all these other communities. They're good Kambas. They're good Mijikenda professionals. They're good Somalis, Turkanas, Kurias.
Yeah.
Maasais, they are there, Kikuyus, Kalenjins. So why wouldn't we ensure that there is a Kisi,
Right.
there is a Giriama, there is a Borana, you may not actually have all becoming CSS, for example, but you can have regional,
Yes.
representation.
Right.
So the one thing I can promise for sure is a national unity government that is representative of everybody across the country and is made of professionals, which means that I'll be hiring on the basis of what we call meritocracy.
Yes.
You qualify, therefore you get the position.
Yes. It's not just...
You will not expect crony appointments zile za Isika, wewe ulinisaidia sana nikiwa Grand Rapids kuja uchukue.
Sindio. Right.
I would have to check first of all,
yes,
you have the ability
right.
to handle the water ministry. What have you done for the water development, etc.?
Exactly.
If I appoint you Minister for Health, you would have to be either a professor in medical services.
Yes.
That is renowned, with solutions.
Yes. Yes.
Or you'd have to be a doctor of experience in the health sector. You don't expect me to appoint an engineer,
right,
health or education docket. It will not happen under Kigame presidency.
Amen to that.
Okay?
Yes.
So the second thing I can promise that I would like to achieve in the first year is declaration and set up the implementation of free education from primary to secondary to undergraduate.
Wow.
Undergraduate means the first degree.
The first degree, yes.
So my focus is that education up to about 21 years should be free.
Wow.
After that, if you want to do your master's, you go pay for it, okay?
And with the resources that we have, it should be very possible.
Oh, it is possible.
Yeah.
I mean, this last year, I think they spent about 628 billion on education, and
right,
it's not free. My education team has calculated if we did the computation of about 15,000 for every primary student, we did 30,000 for every high school student, using the statistics that we have for the 2023-2024 year. And we did 210,000 computation for the just above 500,000 university students.
Yes.
You would actually provide free education complete with textbooks and teacher payment and all of that for just under 400 billion.
Wow.
So 389 according to our calculation. So if you can offer free education with 389, so the only thing I've not included is the spending of the Ministry of Education itself and the TSC. And we round that by way of commensurate activities done by the two. But a lot of looting is also going on in TSC and with the Ministry of Education and curriculum development there.
Yes.
So and by the way, my first degree is in education. So this is very close to my heart.
Kabisa.
And so I would then set a review for the system of education so that we have an education that works for us by way of identity, an African identity, a Kenyan identity, solving Kenyan problems, etc. So you can expect changes in the education sector from Reuben Kigame.
Wow.
So the third thing
yes,
I want to do is create jobs. Okay?
Yes.
Create jobs and expand the wage bill for Kenyans.
Yes.
So that, first of all, you have, you can leave school and get a job. And one thing you do is you introduce the shift system. Here in the States, you know that someone can do 2 or 3 jobs if they're able to.
If they're able to, yes.
So introduce the shift system.
Yes.
So that a student can go to school during the day, but can actually earn something working at a restaurant or at a shop in the evening. You see what I mean?
I see what you mean. Yeah.
You can do Uber as a university student.
Yes.
After school.
Yes.
And get some payment. So once you introduce the shift system,
yes,
you multiply the job opportunities right there. For example, an office that was used during the day stays empty during the night.
Right.
Why? Yes, I mean, you're not buying any new computers or new desks or whatever, new furniture. The office is there. It's paid for the whole month, but it's used for maybe 7 to 8 hours.
Right.
Why? It's a waste of resources.
It is a wastage, yeah.
You should be able to travel from Mombasa and come to Nairobi and get served. It only takes 4 to 5 hours on the train, and get served at 6 p.m. Why should we close at 4 or 5?
Good question.
Yeah. So we extend the jobs so that they're more. But we need to industrialize.
Yes.
Build production lines instead of having things produced for us. A shame, things like toothpicks, toothpaste being produced out there, sugar being imported. It's a shame.
It is a big shame.
So we need to extend production, but we also need to lower the taxes.
Yes.
You see, if you lower the taxes, they become easy for people to pay. And don't make taxes punitive. Show what the taxes are doing.
Right.
Then people will be able to pay. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Isika.
Yes.
Who said VAT must be 16%?
Nobody.
I mean, is it written in the Quran or the Bible that VAT must be 16%?
It doesn't have to be.
You stick it there because you want it.
Yeah.
In other countries, like I think Tanzania is at 18%.
Yes.
It's a choice. I would like to see VAT come down, maybe to like 14 or 13%.
And that's pretty high.
Simple.
It's very possible because I think in America, I believe it is 6%.
Look at that. And so what I mean is you can even gradually do it. You can bring it down to 14 and have the economic analysis that allows you to bring it down eventually. And you can lower a lot of taxes, then rationalize them. If you're going to open a hotel, for example, you pay so many different taxes
Yes.
in different offices. Some of them are duplicate taxes.
Yes.
So we need to rationalize
Yes.
the taxes
Kabisa.
because we are punishing the investors.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So investors are leaving. We need to lower the energy costs so that production is easy. You get it?
Yes.
And we need to avail the amenities, the simple amenities like water for irrigation, so that food production becomes more possible. But all of these will only happen if you kick out corruption.
I agree.
And in the first year, you can believe me if I tell you that the fourth thing I would like to do is to jail some people that are known to have looted and are
Yes.
still walking free. I would like to be the first president to jail some big fish.
And those big fish, when they are jailed, or whatever they store, is it taken back? Or what happens?
I have a
They-
process.
okay.
So there are three things.
Yes.
First of all, you provide amnesty. Amnesty, say in 90 days or 100 days, return what you have taken, okay?
Yes.
If you don't, I'm coming for you and I'm coming for it. Anyway, what?
In area.
I'm coming for you and I'm coming for what you took so that we can take it back. Whether you have hidden it in Machakos
Yes.
or in some island somewhere
Yeah.
or in Dubai,
Yes.
if you have invested in a building in London,
Yeah.
but it was using the money from Eurobond or SGR or one of the monies you borrowed from China, and you did that, and track it to that, we will talk to the British government or whichever government to sell that building and give us back our money.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen to that. Amen to that. If you do that, I think Kenyans will love it because we have been looted for so
It's
much.
the right thing to do. You can't.
Yes.
Why would some people believe they're entitled to take what belongs to everybody else? All these like KEMSA, money is given for drugs,
Right.
for treatment of Kenyans, for cancer, all these. And then somebody pockets it because he's or she's who?
It's a shame.
Nani.
Any nani.
Yes.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Especially a lot of people are suffering.
Yeah.
These are really great things that you have mentioned that you do in your first 1 year. And there are many more, but because of, yes.
You can expect to see ripple effects in the first year.
Yes, I agree, yes. So you mentioned earlier in our conversation that there are some people who have declared that actually they are running, like the likes of Morara and others. Have you yet declared? Yes.
Let me qualify.
Okay.
There is what you call intent.
Yes, yes.
In other words, you intend to be on the ballot. You intend to offer yourself.
Yes.
That's an intention. There is what you call an official declaration. And that official declaration is usually made quite likely closer to the election.
Yes.
Maybe a year and a half or so. So expect maybe more declarations.
Yes.
Or fewer, I don't know. But declaring is a matter of process. It's a lot of things that are involved. There are party dynamics, there are issues of coalitions and so on. Like I told you, nobody can run this government, the government of Kenya or any government by themselves.
Nobody.
And that's why you've always had coalitioning. So even if I told you, of course I have the intention myself.
Yes.
It's official.
Yes.
When the right time comes. But I've been planning. Of course, I ran in the last election, so it's obvious that I have the interest. And because I was blocked, I have an opportunity to go on. I mean, it's not new.
Yes.
Ni kitu kigeni.
Yes.
Kama nilifungiwa, si sasa kuna nafasi tena.
Na sasa kuna nafasi ingine tena. The same people who are there hiyo wakati, it's very possible they are the same people there and they will try to do the similar thing.
Yeah.
What are you doing different this time to make sure you are in that ballot box, to make sure there's no repeat of, was it 2022?
Yeah.
Yes, there's no that repeat of that kind of a thing.
The only thing I can tell you.
Yes.
Wacha wajaribu. Yeah. Wacha wajaribu.
Watajua hawajui. Oh man.
Sababu hata ulimwengu utakataa sasa.
Ni kweli, yeah. It's just a shame, like you wanna go over evil, like to an extent they have to go to that depth.
No, I mean there are reasons. Nobody just wakes up one morning and says Reuben Kigame is not going to the ballot.
Right.
There's reasons.
Yes.
And in every political game, there are all those calculations. So in the last election, of course, it was the issue of splitting the church vote.
Yes.
Yeah, Ruto wanted the church vote. The church also loves me somehow. So it would be nani atapata kura za kanisa. The second thing was the votes for persons living with disability.
Yes.
I live with disability myself. So if, for example, you as Isika lived with disability and I as someone living with disability was running, why would you not vote for me?
I have no reason to.
In the IBC
not to, yeah.
You have 1.7 million
right.
Registered voters that are PWD.
Right.
See? And I mean, there are people who say, Kigame hawezi kuwa rais kwa sababu ya disability. You remember Roosevelt, President
yes.
Roosevelt
of the United States, yes.
He drove the US through a very, very difficult time of the Depression.
Yes.
You remember Kibaki had an accident?
Yeah.
And he came into office on a wheelchair.
Yes.
So, tuache kudanganyana. Yeah. And of course, if you look at the things that I've been able to do without the opportunities, what if you gave me the opportunity?
Just imagine, yeah. Yeah, because we have had all these leaders who have no known disability, but they have been such a mess. And then you have...
Actually, nilikuwa nasema saa zingine macho ndio inasumbua watu.
Yes. Tamaa nyingi, yeah.
Then there was also the youth vote.
Yes.
You see, a lot of youth, Gen Zs, were already dissatisfied with how things were running and wanted change. So many of them were told to register, they refused. They expected to register more than 6 million. Walikata.
Kabisa, yes.
And those who registered, more than 8 million, both Gen Zs and otherwise, refused to vote in the last election. So if Ruto won with 7 million, Raila with 6.8, although that's disputed, that means that the people who really won the election were those who didn't vote.
Yes.
More than 8 million registered.
Registered, yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And then there's those who were writing my name on the ballot paper. Yeah.
Which and this time I think a lot of Gen Zs or young people, even millennials who did it register. This time I think people are ready,
and they should register. They
Yes.
get their IDs.
Yes.
That, when the election is called, they can vote.
Yeah.
So I know the government is trying to play games in terms of delaying the IDs for the young people, but time has come for us to agitate and get those IDs. And also, the reconstitution of IEBC needs to be done ASAP. Ruto is a liar. So he lied that from June, it will be constituted. It's never been constituted.
Right.
So you ask yourself why. Of course, he's trying to play games. When I criticized Meg Whitman the other day, she had gone to IEBC and met Marjan.
Right.
To talk about what?
Exactly.
She was calling it mutual collaboration. What has the United States got to do to collaborate with our IEBC?
Right.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, IBC is the electoral
boundaries
commission, of Kenya, yes.
So there's some monkey business going on.
Yes, yeah. It's,
So we need an IBC that functions. And here's the irony. When Ruto wanted to have Kindiki as deputy,
yes,
a dysfunctional, non-legal entity met through the night quickly, and in less than a night, they passed that Kindiki had qualified.
It's quite an irony.
So it's just stupidity.
Yes.
So you want the IBC to work for yourself, and when you want it, Ruto. Let me just leave it there.
Yeah.
Anachukulia watu ujinga.
And Kenyans are smart people.
Yeah.
Kenyans, they are smart people. They and I pray and I hope that Kenyans don't forget what they have gone through when it comes to 2027. They have demonstrated that they are tired of politics, of tribal politics. They have demonstrated that in so many ways, and I urge them, my fellow Kenyans, we continue with that spirit until 2027. So we vote for leaders not by where they come from, but by their qualification, what they are planning to do for the Kenyans. Not by like, who you need to wear. No, because that is not helping our growth as individuals. It's not creating jobs, So let's not forget what we have gone through and what we are going through, and come out in 2027 in large numbers and vote. And here is a person who is really coming out with the things that we as Kenyans are crying for every day.
I hope you in the diaspora can vote for me as well.
That's what I was...
support me.
Yes. Actually, that was my next question, is like, how in diaspora can we be active in Kenyan politics, not just by talking, but actually by action? And how can we support you as Mr. Reuben Kigame in your campaign?
Oh, well, let me answer the last one first, because I think one of the things that would really be useful for me is all this knowledge that is being given to the United States, to Europe, to Australia by Kenyans.
Yes.
In terms of policy, strategy,
Yes.
Investment, business, planning. I would really want to work with the Kenyans in the diaspora.
Yes.
Matters such as these. Mm-hmm. Let's talk. So get in touch so that some of the issues we are battling with, like how to fix the economy, how to fix our education system, how to fix our water systems, our agriculture, our fisheries. All these things, Kenyans can contribute to from the diaspora because they have a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
But the second thing is, certainly I would encourage them to support me. I've not stolen anybody's wealth. So running a campaign is very expensive. So people fund Obama, they fund Trump, they fund Biden, Kamala. They can also fund Kigame.
Yes, why not?
Yeah, and it's doable. So get in touch and
Yes.
let's see how you can plug in. But the third way is some of those in the diaspora that want to come home and run for office. Like they should be able to join me, especially if you have no criminal record. Join me and let's see if we could work together.
Yeah. Great. The people
But once
yes.
that has happened, the biggest economic partner that I would like to have, given a chance to be your president, would be the diaspora. So that it should be the diaspora that comes to invest
Yes.
in Kenya. I'm sure that, like here in the United States, you can get facilities for single digit borrowing.
Yes. Yeah.
You can get a loan for maybe 5-6%.
Yeah.
In Kenya, you can't do that.
Wow.
So you can get the facility cheaper here and invest, revive a factory, build a hospital, build a school, put up an agricultural scheme, whatever. So that as a president, for example, I would then zero rate your investment.
Right.
Because you're actually building the country, you're creating jobs. So we zero rate we make taxation work for you.
Yes.
See? Ensure that energy costs are low, etc. Then you'll be able to make profits, pay back, but you'll also be investing in Kenya.
Right.
See? So instead of going to China first or going to Germany or Japan, I would want Kenyans in the diaspora to be one of the key investors. It's not enough to send money, to pay school fees and so on. By the way, we will have solved that problem by taking the children to school for free.
I'm telling you, that will help big time.
That
yes.
To pay fees.
Yeah.
Needs to go elsewhere. And by the way, I forgot to tell you, if you made education free,
yes,
you also solve another problem. Because you free parents from selling property.
I agree. Yes.
Sell your car.
Wow.
Only to pay for maybe 2 years of college. You've worked for 30 years. You've saved. You buy a piece of land and you sell it so that you pay for school fees. That's nonsense.
That's nonsense. I agree.
So we need to free the parents.
Yes.
That.
Yes.
Guess what will happen if you free parents from selling the property? They will use the property to invest back into the economy.
Into the economy, yes.
So the land will produce. They'll sell. They'll pay taxes. But if you've sold everything and the child is not finished school, so the child has no job, you have no job, you have no property.
Right.
That's punishing people.
It is.
Sending them into abject poverty for nothing, for no reason.
You know what you are speaking about is so practical because from just my own experience, I saw our oldest brother. Oldest brother, we thought it would be, or we termed him as our savior in the family, and so we sold a lot of land to educate him.
Look at that.
And he got educated, but he got out. It took so long for him to find a job.
There you go. But you see,
yes,
if you gave the education,
yes.
So the chances, of course, correspondingly, you create job opportunities. And like I was saying, you can even be in college and do a side job.
Yes.
You have an ID anyway. So you can be in college during the day and work at Java or, come to my music studio.
Right.
You see. So once you create that diversity,
yes,
and instead of sending our children home, out there to get jobs in Germany and the US, create those jobs at home. Yeah, and pay them, people well, pay the doctors well, pay the teachers well, dignify people and their vocations, and you will see how Kenya will shoot from this despised country. Of course, with national sovereignty in place. Then you'll marvel. Then we can compete as equals instead of beggars, Yeah, Kenya is not poor. Africa is not poor.
No, it's not poor, yeah. Yeah, it is a big myth. That has been, We are coming towards an end, but I have this burning question here. You mentioned, and I'm glad you differentiated between somebody having the intent to run for president, and actually the second one was declaration. Yeah, official declaration. It's good for me to know that. I didn't know that, about that.
And that's why, up to now,
Yes.
until we are on the ballot, we are just aspirants.
Yes.
You're not
Yes.
a candidate. No. Like in the last election, people say I was a presidential candidate. I wasn't.
Right.
I was an aspirant. Yeah. Until you're on the ballot, so Kenyans can choose you, then you're a candidate.
Yeah. Yes. That makes sense. So following different social medias, some in TikTok, some just on YouTube, and one of the big one is the Link Googie show. I don't know if you know. And she gave a list of a couple of people. There was Martha Karua, there was Morara, the couple of other people, but your name never came up. And then there was about 2 other social media channels that I also listened to. It's still your name didn't come up.
Yeah.
And I wondered, why was that the case?
There are many factors.
Yes.
One is what I call selective thinking and marginalization. You see, I'm very big about marginalization. When you assume I don't exist, it's not up to me to come to you and say, hey, I exist.
Right. Yes.
So, that is not something that I can control.
I agree, yes.
That includes stereotyping, what will that blind candidate do?
Right.
That kind of thing. But the whole thing is, time will come and I will be on the ballot.
Yes.
Then it's the Kenyans to decide. It will not be the media or Lin Gugi or any of those.
Yes, totally agree.
No. So the other thing is, though, if you go to other platforms, so why is my name there? If you go on X, for example.
Right.
Last week, people were talking and saying the 2 people that we have faith in is, Reuben Kigame and Okiya Mtata. It's there.
It's there. It is there.
People are talking on Facebook. In these WhatsApp groups, they're talking.
Yes.
But you see, the votes are not cast on X or Facebook.
No.
The votes are cast in a polling station, and then, more than 1,000 polling stations. Okay?
Yes.
So I mean, there are thousands, right? So I would say the real thing is, do people on the ground know whether Reuben is running, whether Morara or Isika?
Right. Right. And that's why I asked that question, because is every channel, especially the ones that have like more than 100,000 following, other people with even over 1 million, it is
right.
yeah.
But let's come back to
Yes.
A scientific assessment like what InfoTrack.
Yes.
Yeah. In I think around June or July last year,
Yes.
InfoTrack asked Kenyans from across the country whether they knew Reuben Kigame had run for office as president, to become president in 2022.
Yes.
Do you know how many knew at that point? And it was just a very casual poll, 53%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can ignore me,
Yes.
but the Kenyans are not ignoring me.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. So as we wind up, one more question I have here is, and you don't have to share this if it's not the time to share.
Right.
Are there any people that you already have in mind that you are thinking about potentially running with you as running mate?
Actually, the discussions are on.
Yes.
And the chances are very high, that we have some very wonderful people.
Yes.
That are potential running mates. But I will add something else.
Yes.
Like I said, there is intention to run, and then there is the official declaration of running.
Yes.
Okay. And there is coalitioning that takes place. So it's the coalitions that actually shape the question of running mates.
Interesting, yeah.
So for example, if you have your own team,
Yes.
the Isika team,
Yes.
you have your systems in place. I have my system in place. And we realize we cannot win independently. We have to work together. So we would have to come together and pick some people from your side and pick some people from my side,
Yes.
and negotiate those positions again. So it would be ludicrous to tell you this one is going to be the running mate.
Right.
I have people in mind.
Yeah.
About 4 different people, great people, including my last running mate.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. So all these are at the table.
Yes.
The question is what combination? I want to tell you something that the people that are making noise on social media and the media spaces will not tell you. When it comes to something like the presidential vote,
Yes.
or gubernatorial, I mean, one of the big seats. So what you ask of the most successful candidate
Yes.
that can win is who among these people can amass the maximum number of votes, yeah,
Yes.
because of the different constituencies
Yes.
that he or she represents.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act.
Yes. Yes.
Kama nikifanya hivi,
Right.
itaanguka.
Yes.
Fanya hivi.
Yeah.
And that's how you bring people to a negotiating table.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the question finally is going to be, what constituencies does Reuben Kigame bring to the table?
Right.
What constituencies does Morara bring to the table? What constituencies does Okiya Mtata bring to the table? What about Martha Karua and Jimmy Wanjigi? And, even if Matiang'i ran, the question is, what can he bring to the table that can make a winning formula? Yeah. So, Isika, Ukienda, Marsabit,
Yes.
can you get votes?
Right.
If you go to Isbania, can you get votes? If you go to Kajiado or Taita Taveta,
Yes.
Western Kenya or Mount Kenya, will you get votes? If you can't,
Yes.
no matter how popular or good you are, you will lose.
You lose, yeah.
Yeah.
With we mentioned we kind of highlighted those candidates who are have interest in running or intending, which they are more welcome. Do you think Ruto will still run again?
Of course.
Even after, I was
Already campaigning.
in fact,
He's in Kisumu.
he's in Kisumu campaigning as we speak.
All over the place.
Yes.
And that's the one thing he do best.
Yes.
He will certainly run.
Yeah. I'm starting to think he's the president who has the most nicknames so far that I know. Yeah.
Mine too. You know my name.
I actually do not. And is it Papa?
No, there is Papa RK or Papa Kigame.
Yes.
Yeah. You can go all the way to my childhood when you called me Samba. You remember Samba Mapangala because of the love for Lekinua.
Yes.
You can go to the reggae artist, who called me Papa Kigs.
All right.
So, everybody has nicknames. So it's what you do, what you say, how you relate to people that makes you get a nickname.
Yes, I agree. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing remarks as we wind this up? I know we have covered way more, taken more time than we anticipated. Any closing remarks as we wind up?
I have 3 things to say. So, number 1, I would want to beg Kenyans to preserve the peace of the country.
Yes.
We have only one country. What this system is going to try and do in order to win the election is going to include dividing us.
Absolutely.
According to tribes, religion, regions,
Yes.
personalities, so that we can go into small pieces and divide and rule works that if you're divided, then I can win.
Yes.
So we need to preserve the peace. And then Kenya belongs to everybody. There are many problems, we can solve them, but we can only solve those problems if we're united.
I agree.
The second thing is for the young people. I think the young people began well by insisting that we are leaderless, we are tribeless.
Yes.
I think that is disappearing.
Mm.
And it is so easy to buy or coax or persuade young people to now go tribal, to now begin to go personality, and so on and so forth. I challenge the young people to retain the principles and whatever drove people to the streets.
Yes.
We want accountability. We want that tribeless nation. We want, for the most part, it's not about Kigame or whoever.
Right.
It's who can deliver that mandate.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because once, the psychophancy kicks in, then the brain stops thinking many times, and we just begin to act like everybody else. And then the last thing,
Yes.
I would say that I would like to request Kenya to make history
Yes.
by giving me a chance to help the people of Kenya have their country back.
Yes.
From a sober mind, a people-centered value system, and, a development that focuses on them. Hata nyinyi Diaspora,
Yes.
give Reuben a chance. There is a song on my channel that I saw some people have put up for me called Give Reuben a Chance. That is all I'm asking, a chance to serve you as the sixth president.
I had an opportunity to listen to that song. Is a great song. Well, I'll put it towards the end of this clip so that and also I'll link YouTube.
Thank you.
Does it have is it on YouTube?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube, and so I'll link so that people can listen to it. Yes. Well, Mr. Reuben, it has been my pleasure hosting you.
The pleasure is mine.
Yes,
Thank you.
and just as having this conversation, because these things we have to talk about them, and just you taking your time to come to my channel, and
It was a long day, but thank you for having me. It was very, very busy with the studies and everything,
yes,
but I'm glad to be here.
that's great. That's great. So to our viewers, you have had Mr. Reuben Kigame and his vision for Kenya. Please do not ignore, do your research, look at his history, and look at the other leaders' history who are intending to run for to be the next president of Kenya. But I believe that he is a man of who has lived out the good values, man of integrity, and as somebody who has blessed us in so many ways as Kenyans, and as even people of Africa in general. So let's give him an opportunity, to drive Kenya to the next level where we need to be. I think the current administration has really put like a bad picture of what Kenya is, and we need to correct that. And I think Mr. Reuben is the right person to do that. So
Thank you. Very kind of you to say that.
Yes. Otherwise, please, as I always say, please subscribe, like, comment, and share, so that we can grow the channel. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and until next time, we check out here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Soul of Kenya is bleeding, we don't trust each other. Deep wounds inflicted by years of lies and unfaithfulness to the dream the nation's founders had. The politicians playing with the lives of our children, destroying our future and theirs. Nothing can save Kenya unless we join hands as citizens and take our country back. Let's take our country back from the hands of people who do business with their lives of the people. Let's take our country back from the strangers that strangle us with international policies and agreements. Let's take our country back from those who trade with our lives and kill our futures. Let's join Reuben Kigame as he leads us to take our country back. Reuben's been tested by the years of struggle, exclusion and despise. His life is a testament to resilience and fighting for the truth and the rights of the downtrodden. They've tried to stop him and gag him, bribe him and mock him, but with the heart of a lion, Reuben just keeps fighting on. If you want a new beginning in Kenya, If you want a brand new start, if you want a character-driven foundation, let's give Reuben Kigame this chance. All the country sings. Let's take our country back from the hands of people who do business with their lives of the people. Let's take our country back from the strangers that strangle us with international policies and agreements. Let's take our country back. Let's take our country back. Let's take our country back from the hands of people who do business with their lives of the people. Let's take our country back from the hands of people who do business with their lives of the people. Let's take our country back from the hands of people who do business with their lives of the people. Let's take our country back from the strangers that strangle us with international policies and agreements. Let's take our country back from those who trade with our lives and kill our futures. Let's join Reuben Kigame as he leads us to take our country back. Reuben's been tested by the years of struggle, exclusion and despise. His life is a testament to resilience and fighting for the truth and the rights of the downtrodden. They've tried to stop him and gag him, bribe him and mock him, but with the heart of a lion, Reuben just keeps fighting on. If you want a new beginning in Kenya, if you want a brand new start, if you want a character-driven foundation, let's give Reuben Kigame this chance. All the country sings. Let's take our 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 country back.